"What do you mean you aren't coming?" Mom barked into the phone. It was Saturday morning, 10 o'clock. 2 full hours after the time Dad was supposed to come pick us up. Mom had been calling his cell every 5 minutes, but hadn't gotten anything but his voicemail up until now. "I don't care how tired you are. You get in the car and come pick up your children. They've been waiting for you." Emily dropped her Sleeping Beauty suitcase on the hallway flagstone and let out a small sigh. I knew exactly how she felt. "I have to work, Bob. I can't just drop everything because you're feeling lazy." I leaned against the wall, closing my eyes. Great. This was just great. I'd actually been looking forward to this weekend, too. Dad had promised to take Emily and me snowboarding. We were going to meet up with Caitlin, Ashley, Dana, even David Silverman. All my old Boston friends. We'd been planning it over email all week. Where we'd meet up, what trails we'd snowboard on, everything. It would be the first time I'd had a chance to meet up with my old friend since I left Boston. But Dad hadn't shown up that morning. At first I'd been worried. Maybe he'd gotten into an accident on his way over, or his apartment burned down, or he had hit his head somehow and was even now lying in a hospital with amnesia. Even Mom seemed a little nervous by her 15th unanswered call. I'd kept peering out the window, looking for his SUV to turn the corner and praying he was okay. Good news, he was okay. Bad news, it didn't look like our ski trip was happening. "You haven't changed a bit, have you?" Mom accused. "Still making those promises you can't seem to keep." She white-knuckled the receiver. "It's one thing to disappoint me, but these are your children." "We're not going skiing, are we?" Emily asked, looking up at me with sad blue eyes. I shook my head, my heart aching. "Don't think it's likely," I said. I reached down to grab her small hand in mine. "Come on," I said. "Let's go watch cartoons." But Grandma was watching some sort of History Channel program when we went into the living room, and wasn't about to hand over the remote. So Emily and I ended up upstairs, each heading to our own room. I lay down on my bed, staring up at the ceiling. A knock sounded on my door. "Come in," I called out. Mom appeared, her eyes red and watery. Great. "Hi, sweetie," she said, walking over to the bed. "Are you okay?" "Sure," I said, looking back up at the ceiling. In my old room back in Boston, I'd paste the glow-in-the-dark stars up there. I wondered if the new people had kept them, or if they'd torn them all down and thrown them away. It shouldn't matter, I supposed. Not like I'd ever be back there. But in a way it did. I'd asked Grandma, when we first moved in, if I could put new stars on my ceiling here. She'd acted as if I had suggested bringing in a sledgehammer and smashing out a wall to make room for a raging nightclub where underage kids drank and did drugs. Mom told me later that Grandma was set in her ways, which was one way to put it. A stubborn old mule would be another. Mom sat down on the edge of my bed. "Your dad had something come up," she explained. "He's sick, so he can't take you skiing today after all." Yeah, I figured that. "He feels very bad about it." "Right." Mom sighed. "I've got to go to work. Can you watch your sister for the afternoon?" "Sure, whatever." "I'm sorry, Maddie, I really am. I know you were looking forward to the trip." "Really, it's no big deal." Of course, my voice chose to crack on no, pretty much cementing the fact that it actually was one. Great. The last thing I wanted to do was give Mom more reasons to be mad at Dad. I swallowed hard. "Play it cool, Maddie." "Actually, it works out well," I added. "I didn't really feel like snowboarding today anyway." Mom gave me a pitying look that told me she didn't buy my brave act for 1 millisecond. Not surprising, I guess. I was a terrible actress. She glanced at her watch. "God, I'm so late," she muttered. "Sorry, I've got to go. I'll see you tonight. Maybe we can get something special for dinner. Go out to Longhorns or something," she suggested, naming my favorite steak place. She was trying. I'd give her that. "Sounds good," I said without much enthusiasm. Mom exited my room, shutting the door behind her. I thought about Caitlin and the gang in the ski lodge waiting for me at our meeting spot right this very second. How long would they hang before they realized I wasn't coming? There wasn't even a way to contact them, seeing as the cell phones didn't work in the mountains. This sucked so bad. I rolled over to my side and pulled my knees up to my chest, fetal position. Then I pulled the covers over my head, wanting to hide from the world. Might as well go back to bed, nothing else going on today. All I could say was, Dad better have the freaking plague let us down like this. I lay in bed for a few minutes, tossing and turning restlessly, but my mind refused to calm down and let me sleep. There was too much to think about. The manga club, the haters, Dad, fields of fantasy, Sir Leo, Matt maybe being Sir Leo. I hadn't logged into the game Thursday night like I was supposed to when I got home from hanging out with Blackie, Chad, and Matt. I was too upset about the possibility of Sir Leo actually being Matt Drewer, and didn't know how to face him. I tried to tell myself it wasn't a bad thing to have Sir Leo turn out to be a nice, normal guy, and not someone horrible like Billy or something. Matt was funny, smart, interesting. I should be happy to have him be Sir Leo. But I wasn't. Not by a long shot. In fact, I was downright miserable. Because, let's be honest here, I didn't want Sir Leo to just be some random, funny, smart, interesting guy. I wanted Sir Leo to be my knight in shining armor. A guy who made my heart pitter-patter like crazy when I laid eyes on him. Like Chad did. I wanted to swoon like the heroines in Grandma's romance novels were always doing. I wanted to close my eyes and feel his sweet breath on my face as he leaned down to press his soft lips to mine. That wasn't going to happen with Matt. It just wasn't. Still, an inner voice nagged. Don't you think you're being a little unfair? Sir Leo's been your loyal and faithful friend for a while now. It's not right to ditch him simply because he's not a love connection. It was a good point. And what else did I have to do but waste time on the computer now that my weekend was shot? I got out of bed, signed into the game, and did a search for Sir Leo. He wasn't on, but someone else was. Someone who was supposedly so sick that he couldn't take his 2 darling daughters to the mountains. Dad?
Oh, hi, sweetie. How's it going?
I narrowed my eyes as I read his words. That was it? No apology? No, I'm sorry I let you down. I'm a miserable excuse for a father. Please forgive me and I'll make it up to you with many, many presents in the near future. Just an, oh, hi, sweetie, as if he hadn't ruined my whole weekend. I had to get to the bottom of this. I'm fine, you know, for being stuck at home and not snowboarding.
Yeah, sorry about that. I wasn't feeling well.
I heard Mom say you were sick. ...
Right. Been throwing up all morning.
Way TMI, Dad. I took in breath. Well, that was good, right? I mean, not that he was suffering from food poisoning, of course, but at least he had a real excuse. I wouldn't want to drive 2 hours north to ski country if I was barfing either. Couldn't really blame him for that, I suppose. Well, did you want to play then? I mean, since we can't hang out in person. I waited for his response, but none came. At first I thought he might have disconnected, but then finally his IM popped up on my screen.
Sorry, hun. Not right now. I'm supposed to do this huge raid with a bunch of guys. We're gonna infiltrate the enemy city of Calgar.
Oh.
Sorry, sweetie. We've been planning this for weeks.
What? What did he just say? He didn't say that, did he? Planning it for weeks? Question mark? 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 There was no immediate answer. Not shocking, I suppose, seeing as he'd just been totally busted.